And we are now live. Good evening, all my favorite bastards out there. This is OGL number 33. First, let me apologize about last week. Google had a little malfunction and it only recorded the first 18 minutes. So, this is us redoing that podcast because, believe it or not, on all our screens, it shows it was still live. So, we're redoing that podcast for you. And I'll go ahead and let my panel introduce themselves, starting with Kenoshi.
Well, this is Kanashi Abominito here to say that Lions do not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep.
Oh, just has it started already. Mr. Red Fox.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox. You know, the guy who does not take bullshit lightly, the founder and proprietor of Bullshit Busters. So if there's some bullshit, you can find me there with my foot dead up its ass.
All right, and Perry.
Well, this is Perry Fan, just an everyday internet citizen here to talk some video games and whatever else we want to shit about.
All right, and Sprite.
What's going on, Sprite Wing Man? It's nothing fancy than dying. Just let's get this take two over with.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into it. I do one of the more interesting topics first. If now, I'm pretty sure most of you have gamed at least more. I'm pretty sure all of us here game more than two generations. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So going all the way back to I believe the fourth gen. The fourth gen. If there was some type of law or whatever the case may be in the game industry where you can only pick one console per generation, even though other consoles may have games you like, games you really want to play that are just begging you to play them, if you can only pick one console per generation, one, what would be your pick and why? We're going to start with the fourth gen, work ourselves up to the seventh, because I'm pretty sure the eighth is almost pretty much a done deal for. I'm pretty sure we all have to share the same opinion, but so just fourth to the seventh, and we'll start with Sprite. Fourth gen, your favorite pick and why?
SNES, the library, what they could have done with the hardware in terms of limitations, like the FX chip, and how they was, a lot of these games started having like more like vocal samples, like clear vocal samples compared to NES, and it was just a good system overall.
Okay.
Like that system just amazing back then, and some of the stuff even now it's like wow, I didn't know could do that back then.
Okay. Now let me go ahead and throw this little extra tidbit in there. What game would do you hate that with your pick from the SNES? What game do you hate you're giving up? That's on a competing console. Because I think back then there was what Neo Geo, SNES, Sega Genesis, and TurboGrafx 16, essentially.
Yeah. What do you mean, like a game that's on another system that's better?
Yeah. Like
Right?
now, what game do you hate that Of course, you love your SNES. That's your pick. But what game, do you hate you have to miss out on because you chose the SNES?
Anything done by Sega, like Streets of Rage, the Sonic games, on the Genesis more than the SNES version, stuff like that. And then for Neo Geo, of course, those arcade perfect ports and whatever came out on the TurboGrafx 16, like the bump games.
Okay. All right. And even though I'm pretty sure his answer is going to be similar, Mr. Red Fox, your fourth gen pick and why?
Obviously SNES. At
But
the end of the day,
you know what? Both of you guys are a bunch of Nintendo bags, man.
yeah, well, you're right. I'm a Nintendo fag, but this leads to the second part of my answer. You can't beat that iconic library. I mean, where am I going to get my fix of great RPGs and stuff like that? Because I'm an RPG fanatic, and if you had a Sega Genesis and you were in RPGs, you were basically like a Nintendo, like someone who loved RPGs and had an N64 in the fifth gen. Like you had little to no RPGs on that system. So the game that I would hate to give up is I'm gonna have to go with Golden Axe. I never was a huge bare knuckle fan, but Golden Axe was fun as hell. But I mean, there were always substitutions for that. Like if you didn't have Golden Axe, you had King of Dragons or Knights of the Round on the SNES. So I mean, even if you were missing something, there was always an alternative on another console.
Oh yeah, I forgot. That was another game I forgot to mention too. That was on Sega Genesis, now Super Nintendo. Comic Zone.
Oh God, that game could stay on the Sega.
You didn't like Comic Zone?
No, Comic Zone is a fun game, but after the second level, the difficulty spikes so much that unless you're using a Game Genie or you've memorized that game, like it's unnecessarily difficult. Is what I'm saying.
I played harder. I played much harder.
But for a beat 'em up, that's just too. That's too much. That's too difficult for a beat 'em up, in my opinion.
I get what you're saying.
Not for pick up and play, I should say.
I don't know.
All right, Perry. You're
Okay.
next. You're for Jim and why?
Well, I wasn't alive, so I never. So it's gonna be tough. The only one I've played is a Sega Genesis. I've only played SNES games through Virtual Console. Actually, the first time I played Genesis was at the dentist office. They had like a TV setup where you could play Genesis. So I played like the Aladdin game. What else? Sonic. What was that? The 7-Up guy. There was a little red dot. What was that? What was that called?
Are you talking about Cool Spot?
Yeah, Cool Spot. And there was a Power Rangers fighting game. But you know what? I'm gonna be the odd one out and say Genesis because that's the one console I've played more than out of all those, and I know those games. But I would miss a lot out of the SNES.
Okay.
Yeah, and I probably miss Mario World, honestly, because I haven't played that.
You're damn straight. You did.
Don't play into his hand.
Don't get him started, please.
I've played it and like I would miss it, but I've played Sonic Adventure 2. I've played that, but I played Sonic Hedgehog 2. That was the first like old school 2D side scroll I ever beat. Actually, it was on a Genesis.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
See, I have the exact.
I was a Sonic 3 and Knuckles fan, but yeah.
I have the exact opposite thing with Sonic. Like I liked the first Sonic. Like I think it had better music. Like the opening level. And
I think Sonic 2 is better because I originally played through the collection on GameCube. I played Sonic 2, and then I went back to Sonic 1, and the level design got so much better. And you're right. And like it like the difficulty just goes like through the roof on the second level for no apparent reasons. Like, what can we do for a second level? Oh, let's just make it completely underwater. Can Sonic swim? Nah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about the first Sonic. The first level, Green Hill Zone, is really good, and then the level design goes downhill because they have Green Hill Zone is designed for speed, but every other level after that is bad platforming, like sloppy platforming.
Hey, I like Spring Yard Zone though, especially that music.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
that is not Bobby Brown's Every Little Step.
No, I'm just saying like that. That's the thing. Like, there's certain things about Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I like the first one, but I can see where the second one's better in a lot of ways. Like, I like all of the 2D Sonics, even the advanced games. But Kenoshi,
because I know that system.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd go with what everybody else has been saying, and that's the SNES as well.
Hey! Before you go on, not everyone else said that. Perry didn't say that, but continue.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, anyway, like I had Super Mario World. We had a lot of the good RPGs like Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, and then some odd games too as well. There's a game I used to play when I was a kid. Again, mind you, I was a kid, so going back to these games now, I'm sure they're terrible. One was about a ninja whose goal was to try to get home. Alien Space Ninja, and then I also played the Home Alone game. I remember. I tell you, some of those licensed games were ridiculously hard, unnecessarily hard sometimes. So,
Yeah, I remember the Home Alone game, like that last level with those crooks flying in the air like Superman. That shit was ridiculous.
I had a hard time.
Yeah.
I had a hard time.
Lion King and Toy Story. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Toy Story was a pain in the ass.
the Jungle Book.
Yeah.
But the Jungle Book was hard on the SNES and the Sega Genesis. That was just obscenely difficult game.
Anybody remember the Addams Family game?
Which one? There's like 3 of them.
One where you play as Lester.
Best
Vaguely.
Quest. Yeah, it was pretty hard.
Yeah, and
well, there was one that was based on the cartoon from when we were kids that was actually kind of fun. It was a platformer. You played as Gomez. It was kind of fun.
I also remember the Tiny Toons game.
Oh man, the SNES version of that was the best.
Yeah, that was a fun game as a kid. Bubsy the Bobcat, which I hear nobody liked. I mean, I liked that when I was a kid, but
actually, I actually did like that.
What the fuck?
I hear that game has personality.
Man, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I heard that game has a lot of.
That's what could possibly go wrong. You could tank the fucking company.
I heard that game has like a lot of design problems. So I don't know. I haven't played that game since I was a kid. What was that name of that?
Put him in a shirt.
And Arrow the Acrobat. I remember
That's
watching
actually pretty good game. But
They
made a sequel called Zero the Squirrel, which was also pretty good. Well, like a spin-off, actually.
Yeah.
Never heard.
Okay, let me ask you this: what game would you hate that you have to give up since you picked the SNES?
Sonic, because that was like the thing about Sonic is I thought that was the only game on the Genesis because anytime I was around the Genesis, that was the only game all the kids were playing was Sonic. So I'd figure that was the only game that existed. They only had one game at the time.
How dare you? No, I'm joking. No, wow. I get it. I mean, that's like one of the cornerstone games for that system. It's like if you had a Super Nintendo, you had to have Super Mario.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, I'm a SNES fan. I have an SNES. What games do you have for it? Everything but Super Mario World. It's like, what the fuck?
I played the heck out of Mario World. I played the heck out of that Mario remastered collection they had.
All Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, All Stars.
Yeah, I love the box. That box art is awesome. Just like
this resolution, that's higher resolution BS, but action.
Yeah, doing HD remasters before HD remasters again. That's right. That's right, motherfuckers. You guys think Nintendo needs to get with the times? Motherfucker, they built the times.
Yeah, I mean that game really showed you, at least when it came to platformers, what the SNES could do especially in terms of sound. Like the sound in that game in those games are still incredible. Like the old Mario games.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go last, of course. Just like last time, nothing has changed. The Genesis was my pick. It was the first one I actually purchased. Big fan of Sonic. I'm still even a big fan of Sega, although they have made some shitty mistakes.
So?
Yeah, they have. But
shit.
I mean, I love Golden Axe. I love Sonic. Loved Cool Spot. Played the game many times. Love Streets of Rage. The game I would hate that I'm giving up, and of course it should be fairly obvious, but even as a big Sega fan back then, you could not deny what was Super Mario World. You couldn't deny it. Like, to me, there's no way in hell that you can say that you didn't give a shit about that game or weren't impressed. It was impressive all the way around. And being a launch title, you just couldn't beat that. Well, now we'll move on to the fifth gen. And who wants to go first?
I'll do it. Look, let's keep it real. I'm a Nintendo fan, so let's get it real. I'm an N64 fan, okay? Now, I know I'm an RPG fan, and I went with the SNES for RPGs. And, and that would mean that basically, by extension, I really should probably go with
You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that you're not going to pick the 32X?
I don't think anyone in this lineup is going to pick the 32X. Like, I'm pretty sure even Sega fans wouldn't pick the 32X.
I heard Virtual Fighter's pretty good.
Not really. No, there's only one really good game for the 32X, and that is Calibri, which is a vertical, horizontal, backwards, upwards, down shooter.
I thought you was getting ready to say Knuckles Chaotix.
Oh God, no! It's Calibri. Calibri is where you play as a hummingbird that gets powers and then goes around blasting the shit out of bugs. It's actually a pretty fun game, but that's the only game that I would ever get a 32X for. And
All right. And the reason for your Nintendo was a 64 purchase?
well, they got me with the SNES, so I was kind of like, I'm a faithful I'm a faithful buyer. Like when I buy something, I really kind of I stick with the team. I'm not one of those fly by night fans. That being said, primarily I had never seen graphics like that on the system. That's right. And I know what some people are going to say. Yeah, I'm not a graphics whore. Look, listen. During the 5th gen, we were all graphics whores. It just depended on what you saw first. Now, me, when I saw the N64 and Mario 64, I was like, shit, PlayStation ain't doing shit like this. And, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, I got to go with this system. And at the end of the day, the one thing I kind of felt bad about was that I missed out on a lot of really great RPGs with having an N64 because I didn't get a PS1 until the PS2 was like 3 years into it. So I basically did not give and when I finally got a PS1, it was like I paid like $25 for it used. So that's the thing I'd miss. But yeah. N64, because I mean, when you had a multi-plat that hit the Saturn, the N64, and the PlayStation, the Saturn, the N64 versions would look the best. The PlayStation version would look like shit. So I would go with the N64 version.
No, I guess I'll go next. I would have to go with the PlayStation because I grew up. I didn't get an N64 until the end of the lifespan, and I grew up with games like with Crash Bandicoot. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I thought I cut out for a second. All right, games like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, and Tomba 2, with its horrible voice acting, and the Croc games. Again, I don't particularly. Those a lot of those games I look at with nostalgia more than like.
Wasn't that eventually supposed to be like a 3D Yoshi game, but they changed it to Croc?
Yeah, that's why Croc looks like a.
Well, believe it or not, the people who made Croc were the same team that helped create the technology to create Star Fox for the N64, and they wanted to make a Yoshi game, but Nintendo was like, "No, we handle that shit internally." So they just switched it around and made Croc. So,
Wow. Oh, I'm sorry, but before you go on, Kenoshi, Ray, did you give your game that you had to give up?
I said all the RPGs on the PlayStation.
Okay, I didn't hear it. All right, go on, Kanoshi.
I think the game I'm mostly giving up was they either it's toss up between Super 64 Mario and Rayman 2 because Red Fox is right about one thing, like the ports, the games, the multiplats always look better on the N64. Like Rayman 2, it's far better on the N64 than it does the PlayStation.
Or
Alright.
Rayman 3. Oh my god. Rayman 3 on the N64 is fucking awesome. On the PlayStation,
On PlayStation, Rayman 2, I mean, on the Dreamcast, Rayman 2 even looks better. But
well, yeah, but the Dreamcast is a 6th-gen console, so
yeah,
I mean,
it's a console.
that's a completely. I'm talking in terms of 5th-gen on the N64. It looked great compared to the PlayStation. Like,
Oh yeah.
PlayStation games on the PlayStation age really badly if they're multiplex because basically the PlayStation was not not only was it not a very powerful console, but it didn't it like the people who were putting games on it were underutilized. Like the games weren't that complex, but and people are like, well, the file size are so big, but a lot of that was FMVs and audio. It wasn't like data for the actual game. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go next.
Go ahead.
Oh man,
Fifth-gen.
this is a tough choice
Um,
between N64 because it had good games, or the Sega Saturn because I'm a 2D head, sprite head. So N64
Boy.
because
Nintendo.
hey man, I love the Sega Saturn, but you got to remember Bernie Stolen the American branch. That is all.
yeah, well,
If we lived in Japan, I would say Sega Saturn. But
yeah, like here's the thing people need to understand. They're like Sega Saturn was a great 5th-gen console. Yeah, if you fucking lived in Japan, but we're Americans, and at that time, no one was spending $300, $400 to import shit from Japan. If you're a kid, mowing lawns or not even just going to school. So
It's too bad that the emulators aren't working because then you could get probably a lot of fan-made translations of those games.
It's too bad Sega just won't fucking make those games available on PC or something. But
that's why I'm going. That's why I didn't choose the Saturn because I'm going by memory and experience. So for me, 64 just because of that library, kind of like what Red Fox said, because you have Mario 64, which still holds up well. Ocarina of Time still holds up well. Star Fox 64 is still my favorite Star Fox.
Majora's Mask, Mr. Mythical Ninja, Gauntlet Legends, Shadow Man, Extreme G 2. I mean, it's got if you could forgive them only having 4 fucking RPGs on the system. It had a great library.
I mean, hey, it gave us Paper Mario 64, so I can't be too mad at them.
Sorry.
You didn't like Paper Mario on the 64?
I like Paper Mario 64, but then you play the sequel and you realize Paper Mario 64 is like trash compared to the sequel.
Damn.
And then you play Sticker Star and Color Splash, and wonder what happened to Mario.
And then you play Paper Mario, and then you realize, it's not 1,000-Year Door. And then you play Sticker Star, and you're like, this really is a 1,000-Year Door. And then you either continue to get mad or you give up and you just accept it and look forward to Color Splash.
People are continually getting
what is the game you hate to give up then, Sprite?
Well, we'll continue to elaborate. Another reason why I like for 64, Rare. Enough to say Rareware. Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. I know people love Mario 64, but in terms of my favorite 3D platform, that goes to Banjo-Kazooie.
But what game would you hate to give up on another console?
Saturn Bomberman, of course.
The one game worth owning.
Well,
Hey. There's more than one game worth throwing on the Saturn. That's right.
Yeah. Saturn Bomberman, the Shmups that's on the system, and for PlayStation, Final Fantasy Tactics 9, Suikoden 2, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yes, I'm one of those people right here. Mega Man X4, the Crash Bandicoot games.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt, but Red, you don't like Symphony of the Night?
There you go.
No, I'm not
hell.
a Symphony of the Night fan.
Do not get him started on that game. Just take his answer and don't ask him why. We're going to move on.
Just let it go. Yeah.
All right, so you named a bunch of games that you hate to give up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Perry, you want to weigh in on this one?
Sure. Okay, so these next few gens are going to be easy for me. I'm using a performance-enhancing drug called One Console Home. So I stuck with Nintendo for all these. So I'm going to say N64 because that's what I had. That's all I knew.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, I'm just like,
Yeah, it's like-
acting like this is some hypothetical thing. Listen,
I
bought
that's
my
all
other
I had.
consoles after the fact. Like I told you, I didn't get a PS1 until the PS2 was like 3 years old. Like I wait a long time to get other consoles when the consoles that exist suck to me.
And the N64 was my first console, so
Yeah.
of course I would. Yeah, but yeah, I get it because I don't want to miss out on Banjo-Tooie. It's my favorite game of all time. So, and Mario 64 and Mario Party and all that. So, what games I'd miss out on? I guess, Spyro. I'd miss out Spyro because I was a dinosaur/dragon kid. So having a video game where you play as a dragon would have been awesome to me. But I think that would probably be about it. Would just be that. Crash. I didn't like Crash because he's kind of stupid. I do have the Crash Racing game for GameCube, but that's about it.
Oh, trust me. You think he looked stupid back then? Oh, you ought to see how he looks now.
The new character model is She-ite.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We are not.
They brought him back though.
We're not going to discuss the heroin addict. Okay. Moving on. What is the game that you? Well, you may not play others, but what is a game you may have saw someone play, or you played yourself on other consoles that you hate you had to miss out on?
It would probably be the Spyro series. I think that was
Spyro
about
series.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of other consoles until about GameCube era. So,
Okay.
I was ignorance was bliss.
All right, and did you go, Kenoshi?
No, I already went.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Doc.
Crickets.
We all know what he's gonna say.
One more time.
Waiting
I said
on
we
you.
don't know what you're gonna say. It's gonna be the Saturn, even though we all.
I was wondering. I was wondering. Kenoshi already went. Did you go, Kenoshi?
I went.
We all know good and hell well that the Saturn didn't even fucking like in America. The Saturn was just a waste of a console.
Honestly, I have to put this out there, man. The one that gave me the most memories was, I have to say, the N64. If I had to be honest, the N64, I spent thousands of hours on Mario Kart, NFL Blitz, of course, Mario 64. Most memories. Now, the game I had to give up, believe it or not, was Gran Turismo on the PS1. I played the living when that game launched. The first day, I think I played like maybe 18 hours straight. My cousin and I, we would literally like falling asleep, taking turns playing that shit, getting the licenses, earning money to buy parts for the cars. Like I was that addicted. And until recently, it was still my favorite, racing sim. I still have respect for it, but they let Forza come in and take over. They really did. But that'll be the one I missed out on. But I would say the 64, fondest of memories, man. Especially when they brought NFL Blitz from the arcade to the 64. I was done at that point. And they gave you your own damn playmaker. You can create your own plays.
Also, I'm just going to add, the N64 had a better controller. I've held a PlayStation controller, and I was a 3D platforming kid. I don't know how I'd get by without an analog.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. The PlayStation controller that wasn't even remotely pleasing until they did DualShock.
Well, the PlayStation controller, I'm going to be honest with you guys, neither the N64 or the PlayStation controller aged very well. The only controller in my mind that aged pretty well is probably the GameCube controller.
Being my first
Yeah,
console,
well,
you just kind of
no,
learn it.
Well, no,
In
I
terms
would
of
say
fifth-
yes and no because when you try, it's hard to go back and play N64 games with either the controller.
Yeah, like
It doesn't feel right.
game is with a 64 controller. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like even on the virtual console, it is so fucking hard to play Mario Mario 64 with like a not a 64 controller. It feels weird. It's like what the
Okay, is it just, answer me, someone, is it just me, or when you play like 64 or Mario 64 on VC, harder to pull off his triple jump, like there's a lag on a second jump or something? Or
Well,
is that just my
because-
controller?
No, it's basically the N64.
Because I feel like there's like a lag when you do, like, he does one jump and then the two jump where he goes like straight, and then if you press it again, you have to press it like at the perfect time, right when his little political foot hits the ground. You gotta press it. If you do it too soon, it won't count. If you do it too late, it won't count.
There could be a lag, but really, it's just the
There
N64
could be, but
was built. The N64 was built for 3D platformers. Like that's what it was really good for. And so,
yeah.
for you to try and do anything else is like, this shit's just not. It's not getting it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if nothing else, we'll move on to the 6th gen?
Yep.
Yeah, the 6th gen
Yes.
was interesting. There were 4 major players in the market. One coming in, and the end result was one coming in and one going out. But it was probably, in my opinion, one of the most expensive generations because if you like to own all the consoles, you had to buy 4 of them bitches. You had to buy 4. But I'll let Perry start out with this one.
Woohoo!
What's your 6th gen pick? GameCube, Dreamcast, PS2, or Xbox?
GameCube. Nope, GameCube. That's the one. That's the one.
GameCube.
That GameCube.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, tell me the one game that made you pick the GameCube.
Animal Crossing. It was the first Nintendo game I ever found out on my own.
Damn.
Like, if I think back, like that was the first game I ever discovered on my own. It was in a Toys R Us. I saw a little demo. Like it wasn't like a playable, just like a reel of games for the game coming to the GameCube. One was Animal Crossing, and I thought it looked so cute. And it's like, oh, you can give them wallpaper, and you can put stuff in your character's pockets, and you can run around. It looks so cute. I want it. And I got it for Christmas, and I only got that and a Tony Hawk game. Took the Tony Hawk game back, and traded it in at Best Buy for the game guide for Animal Crossing, and played that until spring, until I got another game, which I can't remember what the game was. But
Wow.
that game it's up there for me. So
I think you're actually the first person that's mentioned having a love for the Animal Crossing series back on the GameCube. Usually people say Mario Kart or Melee, and I'm actually starting to hate that game now. But
oh, me too. I used to love Melee. And then I went to
mention
college.
those games, but you're the first person that when asked about the GameCube, it wasn't Mario Kart or Melee. You say Animal Crossing.
I will say Double Dash is also one of my top tier GameCube games, though.
Oh God.
That's the best Mario Kart, man.
But that was one of my top tier. Like that, Animal Crossing, and also Harvest Moon, because that was the second life sim game I found out about because I saw it at a rental store at a Blockbuster, and I read the back of the box. I'm like, this is like Animal Crossing, but you're a farmer.
That's a lot of hours, man. A lot of hours to do everything.
All right. Well, what's the one game you hate? You had to miss out on.
Not Halo. I can tell you that much.
Damn. Let's get right to it then.
You're like fuck.
My friend's brother had
my
friend's brother had had an Xbox, and Xbox was the introduction of the standard controller, which I hated because GameCube, you know where your thumb goes. On an Xbox, where's my thumb go? And it was in first person, and you didn't jump high like Mario, and it's like, ugh, I don't like this.
I just hate the damn control on the Xbox.
But anyway, I think if I was envious of any game, it'd probably be on the PS2, and I think it would probably Earth Saturn, and probably be, let me think. What? Are they still making Spyro games then? I can't remember.
They were multi-plat.
They were multi-plat by then because Sony's like, what's an IP? PS2 or anything. One. I think I'd have to say. I played it. I also played this at a demo kiosk, and I was sad I wasn't able to play it. And that was Katamari Damacy.
Okay.
That was a PS2. Yeah.
All right then.
I think that one, or and like all of those like just obscure odd Japanese games that had a chance to come over here. I think the sound of those was a big miss.
What about you, Sprite?
PlayStation 2.
Oh, shit.
Well, I actually like that library. Like, even back then, like, Jack and Daxter, then Jack 2 and Jack 3. Like, I still enjoy those games. Of course, that's when Ratchet and Clank got started. Had a lot of good, like, third-party games.
I missed those too, because those are 3D platformers, and I was like, oh, I want to play those, but I can't.
And they had some good third-party games too. Like, I like the Dragon Ball Z games on that system. I like the
Budokai Tenkaichi was probably one of the best ones ever made.
Yeah. Tenkaichi 3. Man, that's the best in my opinion.
I think 2 was actually overall a better game than 3.
It had a better story mode. But I like the GTA games. Like, I still have the original trilogy on PS2. There was a lot of good compilations that came out for that system, like Metal Slug and whatnot. It was just I like some people that had bought it for DVD play. I actually bought games on it or got games for Christmas. So So PS2, it was my favorite out of all the Sony consoles, and plus it had good RPGs. Well, I thought they were good RPGs, like you know it's coming, Red. Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Tales of Abyss. But wait. But there's some good ones like Dragon Quest VIII.
I was a little disappointed I missed on Kingdom Hearts actually, because I was a Disney kid. Like, oh, that's cool, but I can't play it.
It has nothing to do with Disney, dude. You missed out.
But it has Disney in it. And if I got started with it, maybe I could actually play the games and actually get excited because the story's so convoluted, and I don't want to go back and play them.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, well.
That's a game where you have to be from the start to like it.
Just play the first one, you'll be okay. That's all I got to say.
Well, what about the game you can't miss out on, Sprite? Well, you hate you miss out on.
Oh, we know my choice is Legend of Zelda Wind Waker.
Okay. All right.
Dare you? No, I'm joking.
It's my favorite Zelda, man.
You're up next.
I would say the GameCube because Wind Waker was probably one of the most surprising games I played because I looked at it, there were kids around me. It's like, it's too cartoony. Even I was not sure about it.
Cool.
And then
Do you guys all remember that when we were waiting for news of the next Zelda game, we were like, we can't wait to see what it's going to look like. Link's going to finally be an adult, blah, blah, blah. And then when they showed that, people were just shitting on themselves with disappointment. Like, really, Nintendo? Really? We've been waiting all this time for an adult Link, and this is what you give us? And then they got their hands on the game and like, this is the greatest shit of all time.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to mention, there was one more game. That was on the Dreamcast side, Jet Set Radio.
Yeah, love that game.
So
Go ahead, Kanochi. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so Zelda Wind Waker, and I like both of the Black Sheep games, or at least at the time, this Sunshine and Wind Waker. Those were two very good games, and you have You also have Melee, which brings back a lot of memories. Crowding around the TV with my friends, playing each other, getting mad at each other. You guys remember the old days, right?
Yeah.
There are no old days.
You still play it anyway.
There's no other Smash Brothers game except for Melee, according to fans.
Well, people
I
need
use
to
fans in air quotes.
people need to let go. Like Melee's a good game. People need to just let go and just enjoy the game.
Melee is going to end up being flushed down the toilet, in my opinion, because as much as I love that game, as many countless hours I threw into it, the competitive scene, they have ruined the experience for most people. Like, for example, when Nintendo when they revealed that GameCube add-on for the Wii U, I was thinking that, you know what you could do, man? You could really and truly bring back Melee and put that shit online. I said if they did that, they would have killed the sales. The Wii U would probably be at 20 million units right now just because of that.
You know what they should have done? Sakurai should have patched it and made the game he wanted to make.
Oh shit! No, people would return their Wii U's just on general principle.
Yeah, the serendipitous nature of Melee is great and all, but people have taken it to a whole different level. It's like, is this game even fun to you people?
I actually hope the next one doesn't even have the option to turn off items. I hope the next one you can adjust. You can turn off maybe a few items, maybe most, but you got to keep some type of random item on there. I hope they don't have a for glory mode. I really don't. I hope that game is the way he meant for it to be played. Random shit.
Yeah, it's a party game. But yeah, Melee. Let's see. I didn't really. I rented Metroid Prime, liked it, but I never picked it up. Thought it was an interesting game at the time. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was Melee, because that holds a lot of memories. The games I missed on the PS2 would probably be the Dark Cloud series and the Jack Dexter series. And on Xbox, Ninja Gaiden, because that was the only interesting game at the time on the Xbox that I remember seeing. Other than that,
Okay.
that's about it.
And Mr. Red Fox, GameCube. What else? I thought I'd save you a little breath and options.
It's like you read my mind. Obviously GameCube. Just like I said, the library. I know some people are going to say, but don't you love the Dreamcast? I do love the Dreamcast. Some of the Dreamcast's best games got ported over to the GameCube. So it's like having the best of both worlds. And then a lot of times the better version of that game was on the GameCube. So I guess the only thing that I would kind of be angry about missing out on is nothing from the Xbox, because fuck Microsoft. Nothing from I guess maybe Seaman, because that game is so fucking off the wall that it's off the wall. Like, there's no fucking way that someone actually pitched this game and someone at Sega said yes, which should have let us know that Sega was fucked at the time, because no one sane would let that game get made.
Because you're not gonna miss the magnus opus of the Sonic games, Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2.
I've never been impressed by those games. I'm sorry, I've never been impressed by Sonic Adventure
I like Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic Adventure 2.
I like Sonic Heroes, but
Ooh.
Sonic. Like, here's the thing: my favorite Sega games of the 6th gen are like Yakuza, Super Monkey Ball, which is fucking awesome. Skies of Arcadia, Legends, Phantasy Star 1 Plus Episode 1 and 2, Phantasy Star 3. Like, there's Sega games that I like of the 6th gen. It's just like I don't like the ones that everyone else likes. Like, everyone's like, man, Sonic Hero. I mean, Sonic Adventure.
All right. Well, let's see here. For me, is gonna be between the PS2 and Dreamcast. Um, I think I have to go with the PS2. Love my Dreamcast. Definitely a neck and neck follow up because I love Crazy Taxi and Power Stone. Love that game. PS2 because, as you guys mentioned, the library, the amount of games, especially RPGs. I gotta say, like, I spent a lot of my hours on the PS2. Let's just leave it at that. Like from Final Fantasy 10 to Dragon Quest and just a myriad of course midway games. Of course, I had the NBA Street, the FIFA Street, the SSX EA Big Gangsters, the SSX. Um, you know, I it was just a fun system to me. And like Sprite said, I didn't buy it for the DVD player. I don't even think I ever watched the movie using the PS2. If I did, maybe about 5 times. But yeah, my shit stayed on because I was playing games. Simple.
Oh, that was a game I also forgot to mention on PS2. I'm pretty sure y'all probably heard of Urban Reign.
That's a
of it,
fun
yeah.
beat 'em up. That's a fun beat 'em up.
Yeah. I don't think I had to be missing out on, to be honest. Um, of course, I do love Melee and Mario Kart, Double Dash, and there were even some Xbox games that I liked. But I have to say, I hate I be missing out on games like Power Stone 2, Crazy Taxi, Street Fighter 3. I would hate I miss out on those games on Dreamcast because Dreamcast is a very powerful system, very versatile. Loved it. Hate it wasn't a success, but yeah, those are my games.
Don't worry,
That's-
Dr. Feelgood. You could always blame it.
Shut up. And now we move on to the last generation that we're going to do, and it's the 7th gen. And I'll start this one off. For the 7th gen, hands down, for me, the most played system, and probably some of my best and worst moments in gaming, Xbox 360. And I tell you what wrote me in. Call of Duty.
Oh,
Once you put it online,
boo.
first Modern Warfare, I don't care what you say. That was probably the best one ever.
You're one of those gamers I'm just better playing with you.
Call of Duty, Halo 3. Basically, they started. Their console started the shooters. But we all know that. But of course, I also played Star Ocean. I think it was Star Ocean: The Last Hope on there. And you got Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon. It didn't have a lot of RPGs, but it had a few. It did have a few on there. And of course, though it had a few that were by Hironobu Sakaguchi, which is a good thing, the father of Final Fantasy. Of course, most of the games actually ran better, if not all of them, when they were multi-plats. But yeah, love the Xbox 360. Still do today. It's still hooked up my entertainment cabinet. But yes, what I hate I'd be missing out on. Let's be honest, man. Brawl, Wii Sports, Wii Sports Resort, Mario Kart Wii. The Wii, I would hate. I'm missing out on that revolution if I had to choose it. I mean, that would be hard, knowing that I was the one that chose not to do it. But as I said, I had way too much fun with the shooters and some of the other games and a few RPGs, because I think I have at least like 1,500 hours in like Modern Warfare 2, probably 1,000 in Modern Warfare, and got a few hundred hours in Halo 3 and on up. But yeah, my 360 got played every day, and almost literally every day. Next, we'll go with Perry, your 7th gen console.
This is a tough one for me because I owned a Wii, and I did miss out on games I wanted to play, but I played them now, so I can decide to play them earlier or just keep as history as it is. I'm going to keep history as it is. I'm going to say the Wii. I'm gonna keep it with the Wii because it was a fun console. It was nice. And even though everyone made fun of you because you didn't have an HD console, it was still fun.
You just said a dirty word.
What? Oh, fun. HD? Oh wait, no, yeah.
No, fun. Fun.
There's a lot. I had a lot of fun.
There were a lot of games on the Xbox 360 that weren't HD either, but we won't talk.
But no.
Yeah, that's
and there were a
not
lot, and I had fun finding a lot of like lesser known games on that system later on in its life.
Mm-hmm.
Which we talked about, you talked about in your podcast, Red Fox. So, all those underrated games that no one has played.
All right, so what game do you hate you'll be missing out on? In choosing a Wii.
I'm going to say the games that made me buy a 360 from one of my fraternity brothers when he was getting rid of it. And that would be the Arkham and Assassin's Creed games.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next, Mr. Redbox. And let me
Wii?
guess, PlayStation 3.
Oh, fuck no. No, the Wii. Now, here's the thing. In real life, I actually did have a PlayStation 3. It was my second console I got. But I got to go with the Wii just because I had the better gaming experience on that system. I could play online games. Yes, you could actually play online games on the Wii. And I didn't have to hear people cursing me out and calling me all types of names. Contrary to popular belief, I actually did play quite a few games on my friend's Xbox 360. And I can tell you right now, Microsoft can take Xbox Live and shove it up their ass. Not for their own extensive reasons, just because I got tired of having people I never knew call me names like, well, I'm not going to repeat them, but talk how they had sex with my mom and stuff like that. At some point you got to draw a line, and that was my line that I drew.
Okay,
so
I can agree with that because after I got online with the Wii U, I was like, I'm surprised no one has cursed me out yet for just camping. I'm surprised that no one has cursed me out just because I killed them once. Even if I went like 1 in 10, like negative, you get that one kill, the person is cursing you out. It's like, I'm surprised. Nintendo don't play that shit.
No, not just that. I think Nintendo gamers, and even though a lot of Nintendo gamers act like whiny little bitches sometimes, I mean in terms of just they don't tend to be as weird.
Have you been on Wii vs. Red Fox?
Well, I mean, okay, let me put it this way. I've played.
Oh my god.
Weird.
No, I played games on voice chat with Nintendo gamers. Never had anyone talk about even when we're cussing, no one said how they had sexual relations with my mom or how they, I mean, they tend to have. You're dealing with a crowd of people that aren't as juvenile, which makes sense because I mean the Nintendo crowd is like some of the older generation of gamers. So. Not that I'm mad about that. People put a negative connotation on having older gamers, but older gamers have money, so that's who you should be getting, really.
Okay. And what do you hate you missing out on?
Well, I mean, I was kind of upset that I missed out on a lot of the RPG. I would have missed out on a lot of the RPGs on the PS4, but to keep it real, they weren't making RPGs during the PS3, the 7th gen. They weren't making the types of games that I liked to play back in the day during the 7th gen, so it's not like I was missing out that much. I guess the one game that I was kind of upset that I missed out on was
Uncharted.
Oh God, no. I've played that game. They can take that game and shove it up their ass, as far as I'm concerned. No, I'm not a huge fan of certain titles. I guess maybe I don't know. maybe Elder Scrolls Oblivion with all the extra content they had on the Xbox 360 version and all that was missing on every other version of the game. So
Okay. And Sprite.
PlayStation 3.
I knew it.
PlayStation,
right?
boy.
RPGs.
RPGs.
What RPGs?
Tales of Grace's F, Resonance of Fate, Nino Kuni. What's that game that's like Zelda 3D Dot Game Heroes? There's some RPGs on there. It's like Hide and Steel.
Like Zelda.
Okay.
It's only like Zelda marginally.
And I thought it was okay as an RPG. It could have been better, but it was okay. It was Tales of Zillia. It was just okay. And then Tales of Zestiria, that was a better game than Zillia 2. Zillia 1 and Zillia 2.
Zillia, ugh.
I like the online services for PS3.
It was free.
You didn't have to pay. It was free. You didn't have to pay for shit. And also, I like how I was able to like go back, like play some older games I might have missed. So it was. Then on top of that, depend on what version you had, what PS3 you had. Sometimes it was back compatible with both PS1 and PS2. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I don't have to get a PS1. Just get a PS3 and play PS1 games physically. So there's some stuff that I like on PS3.
Okay. And
the game,
the game you missed out on.
Galaxy 2.
All right.
Mario Galaxy 2.
I think that's like the highest, probably like the highest rated game of all time next to like Zelda. I think both have like 90. I think Zelda has like a 99 and that game has like a 97 on Metacritic.
Good. I don't know about that, but it is pretty damn good.
And what about you, Kenoshi? Your 7th gen pick.
I'd probably go with the 362 because, that's how I talk to a lot of people online. Like, that's how I have some fond memories of screwing around in Gears of War because, the game, that was the age when games were coming out kind of broken. It was easy to pull off glitches in that game that actually added made the game more fun, in my opinion. You also have Halo 3. I also played a lot of Halo 3 back in the day before Modern Warfare came and took over that community. But yeah, 360 was my first experience with online. I think the games I would miss most of all probably be the Mario Galaxy games and just a lot of the Nintendo the No More Heroes games and
All right. And what do you hate you had to miss out on?
I already said it.
Oh,
We
No
already
More
said
Heroes.
the
Let's talk about
Galaxy
that.
games.
Well, now it's kind of funny that overall, regarding the 7th gen, that although I would consider all of us the few people that have common sense about the gaming industry, and we know what has happened and what has transpired over the last several gens. But it's like two of us chose the Xbox 360, although the Wii was a more popular console, and we didn't choose because it was a weak system, but based on the type of games you want to play, right? Now, I'm pretty sure some people will be thinking to themselves, especially some Nintendo fans, wow, like you chose a 360, but at the exact same time, we're not shitting on either one of these systems. Now, of course, Red Fox shits on Microsoft all day, every day.
Yep.
We can put that there, but he makes that known. Now, as far as our games, maybe not, but he shits on just a Microsoft product as far as game consoles all the time. But none of us here have even said like, yeah, fuck the Genesis, the to hell with the Neo Geo, none of us chose it, but we never said that. We never said it. We're just a bunch of damn gamers. And the main reason most of us even chose a system, we all mentioned games. No one here said, well, I chose the Xbox for HD, or I chose the PS3 for Blu-ray. None of us said that shit. No one here said they purchased these systems for an app. Games. So even you have to choose one system for the entire gen, even the recent ones, which, streaming had become popular, watching movies on media it's still very popular. None of us chose any of these systems for anything other than games. Now, why can't gamers today do that?
Because, man, it requires common sense.
Because they're lame.
I mean, I would hate
it's high school all over again.
I would hate to gather up 5 to 10 random gamers from today, have this same podcast, and ask them about the 7th and 8th gen, and I'm pretty sure they're all going to say Xbox 360 and PS4.
Yep.
And none of them, I'm going to say, mention the game. What game we have to? Did you have to miss out on? Oh, whoa.
I don't know.
They wouldn't be able to tell me.
Nope.
Because their head is so far off their ass for choosing one camp or the other. It's like, you mean to tell me there's no game on the other system that interests you? Because I find that hard to believe.
I'll take it a step further. Ask them to name 5 games they're really glad they bought their system for on their console. Don't even ask about the other ones. I bet they couldn't even name 5.
I mean, I just find it weird that all of us here, SNES for the library, RPGs, and of course the Nintendo titles. PS2, library, of course has a DVD player in it. Of course that was convenient even back then. It was very convenient, but still, the games. Xbox 360, Kenoshi mentioned Halo. I mentioned the other shooter, Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure Battlefield's in there too. But I also mentioned the RPGs, something that 360 had very few of, but the few that it had were actually pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't sit up here and say, well, yeah, I watched Netflix on my Xbox 360, which I did, but I rarely did that. I think I may watch 2 movies on my Xbox 360. 2, that's it. 2 DVDs. Games, people. The games. We bought consoles based on the games we wanted to play. I don't think I ever bought any one of these damn systems for a single feature. I didn't buy the Wii U. I didn't buy it because of the Game Pass screen. I bought it because I knew I'd get a Smash Brothers. I knew I'd get a Mario. I knew I would get those games. I knew I would get a Zelda. Those 3 games are going to come. And I knew I would get, some form of a Wii Sports game. May not be as good, may not be exactly the same or better in every way, but I knew I would get one. The only feature I'll say I bought it for was because it could do everything the Wii did. It took the entire Wii, all the peripherals, and the library and brought it over. Even the virtual console purchases. Everything the Wii did, it brought with it. So that's the only feature I bought it for. But no, games. Games. Even to this day, games. Even when the Wii got Crunchyroll, the Wii U, I haven't used this shit. Games. I have an Amazon. I have an Amazon and Hulu account. I don't have either one of them downloaded.
You bought a console for games? Get the fuck out of here! No one buys a console for games.
That makes no sense.
Guess what? I just bought Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival for Wii U about 2 days ago.
I'm getting a PS4 just for one thing and one thing only.
Playroom.
No, man, I'm getting a PS4 Pro because I want that HDR.
Oh,
and 4K gaming. I'm sorry. Look, let's cut through the bullshit. It's time to bust some bullshit just a little bit. At the end of the day, look, you spend your money any way you fucking want to. That's your business. You're a gamer. Here's all I'm gonna say. some people to say, but Mr. Red Fox, you fucking hate Microsoft's Xbox division. I do. Why? Because Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about gaming. Okay? The Xbox is a console that was made off of off of someone's fucking ego. It like literally the things they like the shit you hear about that fucking division. It's like these people don't give a fuck about gaming.
Well, Red Fox, what makes it funny is, and I remember I actually read the entire like 3 or 4 page spread about this. In case you new age gamers didn't know, the Xbox, the gaming console, I'm talking about all the way back to the first, the Xbox, how it came to be, some dude was sitting in his office in a cubicle and he drew a green X on paper. I shit you not. He drew basically a box, a console box concept, and he put a green X on it. And from that point, they decided to do a console. I'm not kidding. You can probably go on Google and find this old ass article from 15 or so years ago. I'm not kidding. That's how the concept was basically born.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and ever since then, it's become a money sink. The whole console's become a money sink.
But I mean, but here's what gets to me about that, Kenoshi. Someone who drew a box with a fucking green X on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it may have been a somewhat detailed drawing, but just bear with me. He didn't think about the kind of games he would put on it.
Nope.
He didn't think about, I got this grand idea for a game. Let me see what kind of console I want to put this on. He drew something on paper without even the main product you need to make this work, games. And somebody in a big office said, you know what?
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea. We should enter the gaming market.
Yep, go with it.
They had nothing else to go on at that point. They had nothing.
And here's the thing. 15 fucking years later, the only thing the Xbox division had going for it was that you had Steve Big Money Ballmer writing blank check after blank check after blank check, holding up this failing monstrosity. And, look, I'm glad that people bought the system, had fun with the games, but the shit that Microsoft did in order to get their foot in the industry fucked up the industry long term for all of us. And they're still doing it. Oh, man, 4K gaming. Motherfucker, let's keep it real. We can barely get 720p 60 frame per second games stable now. 1080p 60 frames, we can't really get now. So
the thing why
2K, 4K, shit.
This is why I harp on 60 FPS, because back during the 6th gen, there were so many games that ran at 60 FPS. I mean, it might not have been right. They ran a heck of a lot better than games today.
Yeah, but they were standard definition.
Yeah, I mean, the Jack and Daxter series, I think the Ratchet and Clank series ran at 60. There are numerous games that ran at 60. It's like today, it's just like, nope.
And someone made the comparison. When Ratchet and Clank came out on the PS4, I will admit I want to play that game. It looks beautiful. It looks fun as hell. I want to play it. I really do. It's one of the few reasons I actually do want to own a PS4. I'm actually hoping they port that shit to the PS3. I don't care if you downgrade it to 540p, upscale to 720. I'm hoping they decide to port that game down to the PS3, which they probably won't. But my point is, when they told me the new game was at 30 frames per second, now keep in mind, I'm not a graphics whore by any means, but I do understand frame rate is the most important in gaming. It's the most important besides the experience. And then I said, well, didn't the original games move at 60 frames per second on the PS2?
Yep.
Even the original 3 on PS2 were in 60 frames per second. Yeah. And you mean to tell me the PS4, which I'm pretty sure is worlds beyond the PS2, or at least supposed to be on paper, you got a brand new game, which is essentially a remake, and it's at half the frame rate? Like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't kill the experience, but to me, it's like you took one step forward in graphics, but you took like 2 steps back. This game should be better. That's like Nintendo making Mario Kart 64 at 60 frames per second, and then they make Mario Kart 8 and it's at 30 frames per second, but it's in beautiful 1080p.
Well,
No,
they did
you don't do that.
take a step back. It was 60 frames per second, but on Mario Kart 8 is 59 because there's a missing frame.
Shut up. Shut the hell up.
I'm sorry. I mean, I get what you're saying.
But you get my point. It's like that makes no sense. People like, for example, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. Now, let's say it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. All right, let's say they bring this shit out. And
are we even sure they're bringing out 15 still? Continue. I'm sorry.
I'm simply saying, based on what we've had before, if they bring out this Final Fantasy and this bitch can be beat in 10 hours, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be pissed. At that point, it's like, no, you have taken an RPG, the very thing that makes an RPG even intriguing besides the story, and you brought it down to a brawler level. Like, some things, you just shouldn't go backwards on. Like, for example, The Last of Us, when they remastered it, they gave it the 60 frames per second. Now, albeit it only looks slightly better, but they at least gave it the 60 frames per second. Now imagine they would have remastered it, only gave it 1080p. That would really be a waste of money, completely a waste of money, even if you hadn't played it.
Fair enough.
But what I would say to the viewers and the gamers out there, if you listen to this podcast, it's about the games. The hell with the consoles. As much as I love my Wii U, I love the games I play on it more. I don't look at my Wii U like, man, let me just turn on my gamepad and stare at it because I got Off TV Play. You don't have Off TV Play if you don't have a damn game on it. Like, you don't have that. Like, you have to
I
buy
bought
a
a Wii U so I could
console
use the
for.
TV remote function.
Exactly. And I don't even use that shit. I rarely use that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a wasted feature. I do use it on occasion. But that's not something that where I bought the console. Like, yeah, this is one of the main reasons I bought a Wii U. I bought a Wii U for the asymmetrical experiences that they said they were going to give some of their games, if not most. And I bought it for the games I knew would be coming and the things I didn't know would be coming. Like, I love Pikmin 3. Hell, even some of the games they ported over from the last gen systems turned out great. The shit they did with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, love it.
Yep. Arkham.
The shit they did with Arkham City Origins, Arkham City Armored, love it.
Yep.
The detective mode, that shit was great. Lego City, love it. I mean, Wonderful 101, but I didn't look at this system for specific features such as Netflix. In fact, I wouldn't give a shit if it didn't have Netflix. Or Amazon or Hulu. I don't shop on my console.
But Dr. Feelgood, we want voice chat.
Let me tell you something, man. When I play games, I love online as much as any other person that play. I really do. I love online games. I love online multiplayer. But people, it comes to a point you just get tired of being insulted for not doing any damn thing wrong. Like, how is it I turn my game on, I go online, and even when I'm in a lobby, a person saying, "Get the fuck out, you suck." Like, just because you won the last match, I suck now? Like, my wife, keep in mind, my wife, she loves games too. Now, when I bought Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for the Wii U, loved the game. She was going online playing against someone, and she's not a professional or competitive person, but she likes the game. She can't perform 10-hit combos, just whenever she wants to. That's not her thing when it comes to Tekken, but she loves the game. She loves to play it. A person's in the lobby cursing, telling her to leave, saying she sucks. Okay, great. You proved that you're good at whooping my wife's ass, who is, by the way, an amateur at Tekken. But why go through all this? If you don't want to play with her anymore, just leave the fucking lobby, dude. There's somebody else online who will deal with your shit.
Yeah, it's just.
But literally, this person is talking shit.
What is that guy?
It's like, to me.
That's just a pathetic person who has nothing better to do with their life. That's
why I hit Xbox Live, because that's basically what Xbox Live, unless you find a community. And like people are like, well, you can always just find a community. It's like, why the fuck should I have to find a community of people to play a game that I basically paid for? That makes no sense. You know, I mean, that's like someone saying, well, you know, your neighbor burnt a swastika on your wall. Well, you could just, you could just move. Why the fuck should I have to move? This motherfucker's an asshole.
Yeah, it it really is crazy to me how some of these gamers have taken it that far and they have to prove themselves. It's like, dude, you're talking shit over the internet. You don't even realize that you're the biggest coward there is because your ass is in the arcade, old school. You wouldn't talk shit. Even the person the same size, you wouldn't talk shit because you may get your ass whooped. There's been
Yep.
times I was in the arcade and a dude next, and although I may not like his play style because maybe I thought he was just playing cheaply or whatever, but if I look next to me and the dude's my same size is bigger, I didn't think about talking shit to that guy because why would
Nope.
I want to get in a fight over a video game? Like at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. I
But
mean,
not only that, we talked shit back in the day with couch co-op, which was basically the closest you get to the arcade experience. But we'd be talking shit with our friends. Like you'd be playing Smash, but it's like that was a cheap move, you bastard, or something like that. Or we would just be fucking around. Like this mean, hateful rhetoric that people like to use online when they're talking. Yeah, you can talk real big when you ain't in front of me. Because look, I'm 6'1". I, I took Muay Thai for 6 goddamn years. I wish a motherfucker would tell me, man, I'm gonna find your house and fuck your mom. Well, um,
go
you
put
can
that
try.
go put that elbow sideways up their ass.
I mean, I can't guarantee I won't I won't break my foot off in your ass, but I mean, hell, life is full of choices. You know.
But it really does sadden me, man. Today, you know that it's become even a chore to go online and play games because you have to deal with that shit. Me, it doesn't bother me. Trust me, you can call me a pussy, faggot, whatever you want to choose, all you want. It really doesn't even make me blink. It doesn't. And I don't even try to mute the chat. It's like you can keep talking, but just so you know, this shit you're doing is not gonna work. I'm still gonna camp. I'm still gonna kick your ass in the game, and I'm not gonna leave the lobby.
And it
You
makes
can
it
leave.
all the sweeter when you lose. That's your tears are making him stronger.
You know what's really sad is when like they don't even use voice chat. They like go out of their way to message you bullshit. Like like they leave the game, use the messenger on the console, whatever whichever one, and say get out, or it's like why are you doing this, or leave, you son of a. I've gotten like a lot of those like when I
Uh,
played the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, and like I'll get on the game with them again because we're like in the same lobby, and like I don't want to get out, I'm having fun, and then I just follow them around and like get in their way, just troll them because I know they're gonna just hate it. Brought this on
it,
yourself,
it, it,
bud.
it's really sad. I've actually been a victim of that too, where a person actually left me like a long ass essay message. It was actually like 4 sentences. Like you actually, and this wasn't a Wii U. This was on the Xbox 360. So you actually push the X button, went into the screen to make a message, and you actually took the time out to type on this shit. Now he may have had the type pad, but even still, this could not have been convenient for you.
That's a lot of effort. That's all I can say on
that's
that.
not a that's not an effort to just to call me a camping ass, dickwad. Like I'm sorry, man, but I'm not gonna waste my energy trying to text you during gameplay while we're in the damn lobby waiting for the next match to start. You did all this in 60 seconds. You're very talented, but
You
you're
have
very
no life.
stupid.
You
You know
have
what?
no life.
You know what I would tell them? Damn right, I'm a camper. I'm damn proud of it. Got a problem with it?
Dude, my slogan in that game was literally like, campers roast your marshmallows. Like, and people
You should
get
have been
pissed.
like, I'm a Boy Scout. We camp. That's what we do.
Uh, I really do want. I'm hoping this shit gets kind of, fixes itself over time. Maybe it won't, but I'm still hopeful. Because I want to go back to when we start talking about the question we ask each other is, hey, what game you playing? Hey, How is this game? It's cool. It's not cool. Whatever the case may be.
Well, in order for that to happen, there has to be some kind of crash.
Well, we're already in a crash.
Yeah, the crash is already.
But
If you think about it, it's already taking place because even these big budget titles, they're losing money. Even when they sell 4 or 5 million units, they're losing money.
because they're spending, you have to remember, they're like most of these companies, these third party games that are selling, 5, 6, 7, 8 million in like a month when the game comes out, they belong to shareholders. So that money before it gets back to them is divided up 3-4 ways, right? So they got to pay their investors, they got to pay the publisher's going to take their cut. Then it gets to the team.
Licensing fees.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit going on. And you see Microsoft and Sony fucking shuttering first party studios. So the one thing that a first party company has to make money, they just won't go with it. But whatever.
Well, I won't drag it out all night. We'll go ahead and end it here.
Wrap it
But
up. Yeah.
I will say this before we give our outros to the viewers and to the gamers. Like I say, watch it. If you didn't watch the entire podcast, you weren't listening. Put the games first. The consoles are a means to an end. It's all about the games. The consoles are just the tools used to play said games to get great experiences out of it. But it's about the games. So play the games, not the consoles. If you are a fanboy for Call of Duty, great. I'm glad you're a fan of a game, not a console. Because you say you're a PS4 fanboy and you love Call of Duty and you think it's better on a PS4, it doesn't matter. If you're a fan of the franchise, I give you more credit for that than I give you credit for being a console fanboy. I love the Wii U, but I love the Wii U for its games, its experiences, not because it's a Nintendo console. Because we had the Virtual Boy that didn't work out.
Um.
Just
I
saying.
Here's all I'm gonna say. To quote a friend of mine, an acquaintance, and Dr. Philgood knows who I'm talking about. Do you play games for fun or to impress other people? They do
Oh
that.
yeah.
A lot of people fall into that latter category. They don't play games just for their own enjoyment. Now, I mean, there are some games where you gotta you're playing as a group. But if you're playing a game because other people are enjoying it and you aren't, that's peer pressure, and that's not cool.
No, it's not. It's the dumbest shit. But anyway, that's all we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Shout out to the viewers. The next podcast I do may actually be the 34th OGL. It may be tomorrow or Friday, or maybe this weekend, not sure. But it will be this week, I tell you that, because I'm not going to go without one. But go ahead and give your outros, guys. And before you guys give your outros, let me just say Sprite had to leave early. Not sure why, but be sure to check out his channel, if you, especially if you love retro gaming. Well, go ahead and give your outro, Perry.
Okay, cool. Just Perry Fan, just regular citizen on the internet. You can find me at PerryFan74, Twitter, Tumblr, Nintendo Network, PSN, all that kind of cool jazz. I don't have anything to whore out. I thought I'd whore other things out I found on the internet, such as this amazing deal of Devil's Third on Amazon for $40 I just found. So if you want that hidden gem of a game, I suggest checking that out. Along with, I posted this on Dr. Gamer Life community on Google Plus. Is a short little animation made by Jan Animations about it's called Ukulele Snaky Dealings, and it's a cute little like 2-minute animation of fan animation for ukulele that came out like about a year ago, same as a Kickstarter, and it's really good. And so if you listen to that, you're gonna like listen to those characters with those voices because they did a really good job. I suggest checking it out if you can. But other than that, this is a good cast, good thing. Maybe next, like, we'll just love talking about games. So,
All right, man.
all right.
And Mr. Red Fox.
Yeah, it's me, Mr. Red Fox. I'm trying once again. BS Busters this Sunday. I'm sorry, this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our our standard greeting. On top of that, we also have a well, I'm trying to do a podcast with John Lucas once again. Hopefully, this time we got everything lined up, everything like that. So hopefully, might be a creative return, a triumphant return for the man, the myth, the legend. And look forward once again to this week's BS Busters, where we'll be saying FBNX.
All right.
It's going to be fun. You'll enjoy it.
And last but not least, our resident troll, Kenoshi.
That's Kanashi Balmita here to say you can't spell ignorant without juicy fruit.
Okay, you know what? Damn it, man. And as always, I'm your host, Dr. Feelgood. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. And as I always say, keep it gaming. And I hope YouTube and Google actually recorded the shit this time